Hello, good evening, and welcome back to Invictus Racing League IRL F1 League. It's Monday night, which means it's Gareth and Sab in the box. How are you doing, Sab?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. We're back. It's Monday again. Some people who have been forced to stay at home might not realise it's a Monday, but yes, it is a Monday. We're here again with the F1 boys. Last week, I have to say, was probably one of the most exciting races we've had in a very, very long time, with those mixed conditions. And in the end, Gamer on that risky strategy, staying on those intermediates in that really tricky weather conditions, just about got to the end in first place and extend that lead in the championship. So tonight he'll be going into it with an 8-point lead over rival Harry. So all eyes now will be on the likes of Gamer and Harry, and anybody else could try and possibly take any points off Gamer, because at the moment Gamer is the benchmark in this league, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. The man that's made his return to Invictus currently stands at the top of the standings. 45 points after 3 races. Japan, Abu Dhabi and Belgium. He's taken the 3 fastest laps in each one of the opening 3 rounds as well. So that shows you that he means business in this return to Invictus. And it is Harry who has taken 3 podiums, which is much better than what we saw from him last season. That is the man chasing him behind on 37 points, but as does everyone else, needs to catch and overtake Gamer as he's starting to break that gap a little bit. 8 points, and we were saying just before the stream started, Sab, that 5 points would have been the gap if he hadn't had those fastest lap points. But it shows you now that 8 points is a little bit more of a mental gap between the pair, because 5 points feels quite manageable, whereas 8 points feels cool. I have to outscore him by quite a bit to get up to where his level is.
Exactly, and it just shows you what that extra point for fastest lap can do for you in terms of title chasing. And like you say, that 8 point gap now, it's looking like he's starting to build a lead up. And if it was 5 points to Harry might be thinking, oh, it's still manageable, I'm still in this. And yeah, he probably thinks that now with 8 points, but you don't want that to carry on, do you? You don't want that trend to keep going. You don't want him picking up, say, a podium tonight, not a win, but just a podium, but still with the fastest lap, because he's still getting that extra point and he could still maintain his lead at the top. So yeah, if anybody can do anything tonight just to unhinge this train of his at the moment, what is fast approaching to the title at the moment, they need to step up now, really, because at the moment there's only one really rival standing up there a minute, and that is Harry. You've got the likes of Sam and Hercules, John Paline and Boy Better Know. They're there, but they really need strong results, don't they, within the next tonight and next week and the week after's races. They really need to step up now and take it to Gamer, because we could see it by the break he could end up running really away with this. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen, because as we always like to say, me and Gareth love to see it go right down to the wire. The final race, like last season when it was Hercules versus John Plan for the title, that's what we want. We want it all the way right to the end. We want to see a title fight in Monaco. What a thought that would be. But at the moment, you can't knock Gamer, can you? Gamer's been absolutely superb this season, and while he's doing what he's doing, everybody's just got to work that bit harder.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're now in the third of the way through the calendar. 4 races in out of a 12 race calendar, so yeah, you want to keep that gap down to a minimum. And the likes of Harry, and then of course it's a bit of a gap. It's a 16-point gap all the way back to Sam and Hercules back in third and fourth position. So yeah, they need to really start getting a move on and getting a shift on. Of course, Hercules missing last week in Belgium was a big hit to his championship possible. Well, because after just missing out last season, a big hit to his chances this season. The German will be looking at coming back strong this week in Spain. And of course, you can see on board and on video here, we are here in Barcelona for the Spanish Grand Prix, round 4 of the Invictus Racing League IRL F1 Championship, and it's a track that everyone knows quite well, having seen it not on the calendar but in pre-season testing. Quite an easy circuit, a lot of maybe not as many overtaking options, but it definitely places to see a lot of close racing, due to especially the second sector and third sector being quite close knit and tight. So watch out for a lot of close battles throughout the early stages of the race. And of course, we can often see slightly mixed conditions here in Barcelona. Usually, you see that beautiful blue skies you see on screen just right now. But yeah, we do often find that we do get a sprinkling of rain here and there. So yeah, always a bit of an unknown. Of course, having that mixed condition race last week in Belgium may have pricked the ears a little of some of the guys that were in part of the session, part of the league, because they need to make sure that they're testing not only on the dry stuff but also on the wet stuff before they get to the race. And we'll go to session now. We'll see what Barcelona has in store for us this evening as we go to track, hopefully going black for a bit, but and it's, as I said, it's a beautiful blue sky here above Barcelona, above the Circuit de Catalunya, a 4.6 kilometre circuit, 2.8 miles, 14th longest of the F1 calendar. Distance turn 1, 730 metres, that's just under half a mile. The longest straight here is just over 1 kilometre long, 6.6 of a mile, where the top speed hits 208 miles an hour, around about 333 to 335 kilometers an hour. Full throttle, 65% of the lap. ERS demands medium, heavy braking zones around here allow you to recover quite often. So these guys will have the opportunity to possibly running none or running low and recovering some of that ERS and using it down 2 DS straights. One from the exit of turn 16 down to turn 1, and a second from the exit of turn 9 on the way down to turn 10. That almost hairpin-like turn, and gear changes 44 over the lap distance here, so that makes around about 2,904 over a 50% race distance, which the guys will be doing tonight.
Always great with your facts there, Gareth. I don't envy you trying to work those out every week. But as we're on track now, Hercules is the first guy out there. He missed last week, didn't he, due to some issues with his internet. But he's back tonight, and I'll be very eager to see how Hercules does. We know how quick he is. We know how close he ran last season to getting the title, and can he take it to Gamer tonight? Can he really step up and see the Hercules that we've kind of missed so far this season, haven't we? He's not been quite at his A game yet, but at the moment he's just out there on a set of hard tyres. As I'm just looking through the minute now, the majority of people at the moment are favouring the harder compound at the moment. There's only 3 cars at the moment looking at a set of softs. Everybody else is on the hard compound. Hercules will be the first guy to start his first flying lap.
Yep, coming up to the final few corners now. That's chicane at turn 14 and turn 15 into the last corner at turn 16. Of course, all used to be part of one many moons ago, but now Hercules opens up that McLaren down the back straight, DRS open and getting up to top speed as we run down towards turn 1 for the first time in the first qualifying lap this evening, down to a braking zone, lateral G-force of 3 here, so a lot of force going through not only the cars but the drivers, and now very easy to run out wide here at the exit of turn 3. Very easy also to feel like you can take it full throttle and you can run out wide, and that will invalidate your lap, but Hercules doing quite nicely to keep it quite tight into turn 4 and down towards an off camber turn 5, the left hander, and it starts to fall away, so they're very easy to roll the car off out onto that runoff area just before the gravel. And now a very tricky corner if you can't get it lined up right. Turn 7 and turn 8, very quick left right flick and up the hill into another off camber turn 9 to open it up into the DRS zone. Hercules does that, and the rear flap of the Mercedes opens. We no longer see Husky Chocolate, and down towards the hairpin at turn 10, and you can see that brake blocks glowing orange, or brake discs I should say, glowing orange of that McLaren, sorry, as we get into turn 12, now into turn 13 before we get to that final chicane. And once again at turn 14 and 15, very easy to ride that lump of curb just there and just unsettle the car, but Hercules rounding the final corner to come across the line. Benchmark time this evening will be a 1:18.654.
Just some incidents to let you know about. The yellow flag what's flagging up right now was for Sam in the Haas at turn 6, lost the car, ended up in the gravel sideways on hard tyre, so that's his time ruined. Harry, as you might see there, did a 1:23.0, and that's because just after turn 6, going into turn 7, he just lost the car ever so slightly and took him onto the grass, and he had a close running teammate in Scott not far behind him. Scott also had a slight mistake in him as well. Got him up to P2, but Scott can certainly go better. And right now I'm just looking on board with Harry again, and he's invalidated this lap, so he won't be improving either on this lap. So work still to be done for the Williams team.
jumper line, and only a 120.3 there. Got a twitch on the exit of turn 15, and that's cost him a little bit of time. The Renault driver goes into what is now 8th after TL44S. Beck up into 6th position. Scott doing a 119.4, but that's showingly to be an absolutely rocket time for Hercules. What was that, 8/10 of a second faster he's currently running at the moment, so we'll see what Charlie can do. We know that Charlie's been putting in some time in the behind the wheel for this one, and he's currently opening up his lap here on qualifying, and the former no assist champion, formerly what IRL F1 was previously. We've got a yellow in sector 2, you can see a slow Toro Rosso there. But Charlie, having put some time in over the week to see if he can improve on his fortunes, because he's not had the season he's been after, and of course as one of the former champions he'll be looking at getting, as Scope does on 119.3, so that's much better from Scope from what we've seen so far this season. Puts himself up into the provisional front row of the grid. Charlie running out wide a little bit there, but you can see recovering it, didn't get too much of a little bit of oversteer on the exit, and now down into 3rd sector, and Charlie using that runoff area, and it's a very long elongated right hander up the hill here, very easy to floor the throttle and get yourself in pointing in the wrong direction, and now try and ride these curbs as easy as possible. You don't want to unsettle the car. Charlie coming through the final 2 corners, kicks the rear end of the McLaren out. That's going to cost you a 1/10 of a second or so. He's going to come up to the line, and what can FPL Charlie do? It's up only into 11th position, a 120.586.
It's like you say, it's a good start for Schofield. It's really good to see him right back up at the very front. I hope we can see more of him right up front, because a fast Schofielder usually brings out some fantastic racing. I've just been keeping an eye on all the other times. I mean, the Ice-T has jumped up into P5, a nice lap for him there in the Mercedes, and teammate TL4S also in the top 10 as well, in 8th place. So at the moment, there's a lot of times out there, I think people, as Hercules, there you go, Hercules is not messing about, is he? Hercules has just gone even faster with a 1:18.583, and Harry much improved after his few escapades around the circuit, but he's done 3 laps on those hard tyres as well as Hercules. Harry going there with a 1:19.0.
Yep, and the man currently 2nd in the championship. Has done very nicely in qualifying so far this season, with a couple of front row starts and a pole position, so he'll be looking at maintaining that streak. Gamer is now on an outlap, and the Renault driver currently in 12th position on a 120.4, so he obviously had an issue, and that is put him down the order jumper line, and in 3rd position, a 119.163 as the Renault crosses the line there and goes up onto the 2nd row of the grid. Who else have we got on track? We've got Gamer coming up to start his lap. We've got it's got a Racing Point, and we'll check on board where is one of them, as KJ unfortunately rounds over the curbs, and that's going to cost you a lap time. So into the box he comes, and let's go on board with Gamer for a lap here around the Circuit de Catalunya, and we'll sit above the head of the man who currently leads the championships, and everyone can learn a little bit as we follow him around his line. I'm sure there's plenty of drivers, not only in IRL F1 but down through the entirety of Invictus, that will be looking at emulating this man, of his lines, his speed, his pace, because he's been really lighting up so far, and you can see just how neat and tidy he's been through the opening few corners, up into 7th gear, braking now down into 4th, switches down quickly, flicking between 3rd and 4th there to get a little bit more traction on the exit of the corner, now down in towards turn 5. Running out a little bit wide, turning in. You can see a little bit of oversteer there, but not too much to worry about. Now, as I said, very tricky corner here. Very easy to kick the rear of the car out. He does very nicely to hold on to it. And you can hear dropping down into 5th gear, up into 6th. Oh, and the car loses it. Big loss of control there for Gamer. And he goes off into the gravel. So that's going to be slightly unnerving for him, because that's an easy mistake to make, not only in qualifying, but also in the race.
Just riding on board with Charlie. Charlie, it's an all McLaren front row right now. Charlie's just had an absolutely monumental lap for him there. He was absolutely flying all the way through, and like everybody else, they're all finding more time as they get more wear out of these tyres, and Charlie there jumping up in 2nd place with 1:18.891, putting it an all McLaren front row, and it was a very, very good lap. But yeah, it just shows you, doesn't it, with CRG Gamer at the moment, the pressure is on for him right now. He's down in 14th place, and while that clock keeps ticking down, he's going to have to make these laps count. And at the moment, it's just not working for him. I'm sure CRG Gamer will pull out a lap at some point, but at the moment, the McLaren boys are showing him the way forward.
And the Williams boys, you can see working together as Harry gives Scott a monster tow down the front stretch and sets up Scott for his lap. So now the Williams man needs to make sure he nails this lap after getting a little bit of a helping hand from his teammate, and he goes purple in sector 1. He's on the medium tyre, so you'd like to think so, but he's going to be the first one out there to set a real competitive time on those tyres, as we've got the likes of Warisland, Jumperline and Lozak, TL44S and amongst a few others have decided to go for that yellow wall tyre with just over 8 minutes left to go in the session. So what can Scott do as he comes down to end the second sector? There's a Mercedes just offline there, so we'll see, can he go purple? He does go purple, so it's just over a second faster. So Scott on course for provisional pole position as the first man out there on the medium tyres. Hercules' current pole time at an 18.5 is 0.3 of a second faster than Charlie. We've got an all McLaren front row with the Williams and teammate of Scott in third position. What can Scott do? Boy Ben, no, of course, coming across the line. He's the first one across, and he does take pole position. It's a 1:17.701, and that's going to be the benchmark for the medium runners.
It most certainly is, and you'd imagine the likes of Hercules, Charlie and Harry will be looking at potentially going on to a set of mediums themselves. I'm trying to keep an eye on TRG Gamer. He's still maintaining this run on the hard tyre, and he's off for another lap now. Be interested to see what he can do, or whether he just thinks about coming in at the end of this lap and just bolting out a set of mediums. But at the moment he's pushing as hard as he could possibly push, and right now he's just fractionally down on his first sector time. So it's tough out there for 7 minutes to go. It's tough out there at the moment for CRG Gamers to get things quite right.
And we've got a couple of drivers ending their the laps around the final corner. Comes KJ, coming in 18th position without a representative time, and straight up onto the front row of the grid on the hard tyres that have done 3 laps. So that's a monster of a lap there for KJ. A 1:18.5 beats the likes of Hercules' time. So yeah, absolutely cracking lap there from the Racing Point driver.
Yeah, most certainly. And I just want to point out the only person who's not set a time at the moment is the home crowd favourite, and that's Sam. Sam, Spanish descendants. He's here racing on his home circuit this evening. He's now out there on a just about to start his flying lap now on a set of medium tyres in the Haas car. So Sam, the only one not to set a time. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on at the moment. Sam has been going well this season and thoroughly deserved his second place last week with that decision to jump onto those wet tyres. So for his sake and for his home fans, he'll be hoping to get right up there with the likes of KJ and Boy Betano and really take it to him tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. As Gamer goes up into 4th position equally on 3-lap-old hard tyres. So the KJ in the Racing Point and in the Renault of CRG Gamer 62 both having some good runs there on the hard tyres, and that will really the pigeons when it comes to the guys on the medium tyres like Scott, like Hercules, who's thinking about a medium run. So it's going to be a good run for those guys on those tyres, as Lozak's currently going quicker. He's in 12th position, our reigning F2 champion, who's made the jump up to F1 this season, and we'll see what the Swiss driver can do as he comes up to the left-right flick, slightly cutting the corner there, but it looks like he's managed to get away with it, and we've got a yellow. What's happened, Sab?
Sam had a really slow-running car in the final sector, and it made Sam have to pull right out, and he was on course to be the fastest car. Is he going to be? No, he's not. It's a 1:18.1. He was purple in the first 2 sectors, but there was a slow-running Mercedes. I think it was Ice-T, and he just didn't get out in time quickly enough, and Sam had to get off the accelerator, and that most certainly lost him time. As I'm just seeing now, Scott has come out on a set of soft tyres, which is really surprising, because from what my understanding is, most of the people will be fancying the medium tyres now, not really wanting to touch the soft tyre. But Scott is out there now on a set of soft tyres. I don't know if he's just out there just to see how the track feels on a set of softs, or if he's just going to do a completely different strategy. But all eyes would be definitely on him to see what he does on those set of softs.
Jumper line and jumps up into third place with 118.3 on the medium rubber. Behind him on track, we've got looks like we've got Scopefielder, who's just about to start his flying lap, and behind him is Harry and Scott. You can see on the track map the two Williams line astern, so it looks as though it's going to be Scott giving Harry the tow this time. And I imagine we'll see if it is Scott on the soft tyre. And so maybe coming out on that soft rubber is just to give him a little bit of extra traction, because it looks as though he's going to be helping out his teammate this time with the tow. So you can see the two Williams working together as we've seen in previous races. And there we go, pulls to the inside and slingshot engaged for Harry, and that sets him off for his probably last flying lap in this session. So we'll stick with the Williams driver. We've got plenty of other drivers out on track. In fact, we've got a McLaren coming around the final corner now, and that might just be Hercules or Charlie starting their lap, but it is purple in sector 1 for Harry. So the Williams driver is improving on his previous time. Loses the back end of the Williams a little bit there, so that's going to cost you a tenth or two, but we'll see if he sticks with it through the rest of this lap. And welcome to everyone joining us tonight. Great to have you on board. Make sure, if you're not already, that you press subscribe, and equally press the like button. And if you are subscribed and you want to be notified when we go live, it looks as though Harry has bailed out of that lap, so maybe losing the back end has cost him that time. So does he reset? Because you see Scott has pulled back ahead of him. So it looks as though these two have decided they're going to go again. So we might have a little bit of a factory reset of the Williams, and Scott is going to line up in front of Harry once again for this lap. And I would imagine we'll see them exiting the final corner, and once again Scott will use that rubber to good effect and give Harry a decent dough down to turn 1, because Harry down in 9th position at the moment is not where he wants to be at all. So these two will reset, and off they go for another flying lap. Once again the double toe, but we'll check in with them later on in the lap. Around the final corner comes Ice-T in 11th position. He's invalidated that lap, so we've now got Charlie and Hercules in the McLarens coming across the line. Where can Charlie go? It's only up into 4th position. Behind him is the Renault of CRG Gamer about to start his lap. Then we've got a Ferrari of I believe that's the Warislander. We'll check in with Hercules in 7th position. He's coming up to the final corner now. He's already over half a second quicker on his previous time. The German comes to the line, 7th position, takes him up into the front row of the grid. It's the 17.8. Great lap there from Hercules.
It was a great lap, and I just want to point out as well, it was a good lap for Scopefielder, jumping him right up there with a chance of fighting at the very front. He had a very good lap in the Alfa Romeo, and initially got him into P3. Charlie, as you say, down in P5. Decent for him, but Hercules ever so close. But the pressure really is now on with just over a minute to go. CRG Gamer really has to get this right. He's 2/10 up on his previous time at the moment, so these next few corners will be crucial for CRG Gamer and where he starts in the race.
And Harry goes into 3rd position using that help from his teammate. Takes up into the the second row of the grid, so not quite a front row start, and under threat as KJ goes current provisional pole of 17.5 on the medium tyres. Great lap there from him. Scott in 2nd on 17.7. Behind we've got Hercules, who's not going any quicker. Gamer is going to come across the line to start his final flying lap. Sam is out on a flyer as well, so he's out in the 1st sector now, coming up to turn 4. So plenty of drivers to come across the line. We've got Renault coming across now, and that looks like Jumper Line and is about to start his flying lap. We've got 20 seconds left to go in qualifying. Who can improve on their times? Hercules comes across the line. Will he go for another flying lap? Looks like a second push lap for the German, as he just manages to get out there. As we've got the two Alfa Romeos. We'll see if they're actually helping each other out, because you can see Scopefielder is going quicker. So the two Alphas learning from the Williams and deciding to give each other a little bit of a tow. Scopefielder in 7th position on track. Can the Swede improve on that time and get himself up hitting contention for the front 2 rows? He doesn't. He moves up to 5th. Sorry, they had a late move there. So yeah, up into 5th position for Scope. Behind, have we got any improvements from Gamer? Gamer, no. He bails out of the lap, 6.7. So he's decided against that one. So he's not going any faster. Harry is into the box. Hercules is going quicker. Hercules is just under a tenth faster than his previous time. He needs to make up a lot more over the third sector if he's going to overhaul KJ and his current provisional pole time. But it's an invalidation for Hercules, so it looks as though, unless Jumperlinen, who's on the soft rubber, comes around the final corner, can snatch it away at the final. No, he doesn't. Bails out of it. So Jumperlinen crosses the line, and I believe, unless we see anyone else improve, we've got TL44S and Beck going slowly, that it's KJ Eltink 7 that takes pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix.
Well, what a lap that was from KJ. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to see his lap. I was busy trying to keep an eye on everybody else, and I'll be honest, I did not expect him to get pole position, but what a pole position that was for him. And he lines up alongside Boy Better Know. Boy Better Know, it's been a while, hasn't it, when since he's been lined up on the front row there, and he'll be very happy to be up there, and hopefully helping his teammates out and try and get him past Harry. But it's all to play for now, because CRG Gamer, our current championship leader, is only down in 6th place. There's work to be done for Gamer tonight, but like I said earlier in the session, it won't matter so much if CRG Gamer doesn't get maximum points tonight, because he knows he's got that cushion over Harry and everybody else. But he's certainly, definitely not going to be accepting just finishing in 6th place. He'll be fighting for that lead, no doubt about it. So the beginning of this race is going to be absolutely fascinating to watch, see who's going to come out on top going into the first few corners.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannot wait for that. It's a fantastic pole position for the Racing Point driver. A 17.5 puts him a tenth and a half ahead of Scott in the Williams, who did a 17.7 flat. Hercules in third position with Harry in fourth. Scopefielder in the Alfa Romeo, great qualifying from him, puts himself ahead of Gamer, who can only manage 6th position. Sam in 7th with Charlie in 8th. Jumperlinen and Foxy Red round out the top 10, and starting on fresh tyres will be the Warrislander, Ice-T, Speed Queen, Lozak, TL44S, Beck, Agilocdoc, Fountain and Cliffy way down the order. The only ones not to go onto the softer rubber. They stuck onto the hard tyres for their qualifying session. So plenty to be done for the likes of Fountain and for Cliffy in this race. But we've seen from Cliffy that you can fight through the order, and we know Fountain's a former race winner. So look to see those guys battling through the pack later in a session. And as I was saying, guys, if you're enjoying the race tonight, make sure you press the like button. Equally, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. Unfortunately, we've not been having our videos pushed through to subscribers and into people's sub boxes, and so if you ring the bell, you'll be notified every time we go live, and we'll be able to get you on board with the streams and get you chatting, get you watching. So make sure you help us out. It helps us out massively. And equally, share the video if you've got it on your social media channels. Helps us grow the league, helps us grow the channel, and we're always very appreciative. And Sab and I will be back with you every Monday night for the foreseeable future, hopefully, and we'll be bringing you some commentary on this absolutely stellar IRL F1 League that sees a fantastic pole position from KJ Eltink, and Scott, that's much better from him, and is in second position.
Yeah, most definitely. And Scott, he's known, in my opinion, for great starts. And I don't want to put the jinx on Scott, and he would absolutely hate me for doing it. But normally, when we've seen him qualifying in the bottom half of the top 10, you can normally see him make rocket starts. So starting second place is a real good opportunity for him to take the lead of this race and really set the pace of this race. But I don't think KJ is going to make it that easy for him, is it? And you certainly can't rule out the likes of Hercules and Harry behind. And I keep bigging him up tonight, but Schofield up in P5, that is much better where we expect Schofield to see. He was struggling somewhat at the beginning of the season, wasn't he? But it looks like he's starting to find his feet again now in this league and really take it to some of these guys at the front. And just going through the tyre details at the moment, I just wanted to tell you that outside of the top 10, everybody has gone on a set of hard tyres except for Speed Queen. She's on the set of mediums in 13th place. So a lot of the guys outside of the top 10 will be looking to go very long into this race. Whoa, KJ has lost it and crashed into the wall on his opening lap. Oh my god. I hope he's not done any damage to his car there, but KJ has just completely lost the car in that racing point and hit the wall. Luckily he's getting going again, but he certainly does not want to be doing that on the opening lap.
No, the nerves possibly getting to him slightly there as he lights up the rear tyres, puts it into the wall. So luckily for him, damage doesn't seem to have affected him, so he won't be starting with a broken front wing, which would be devastating. But KJ in that pink and blue helmet, matching the colours of the car, but unfortunately probably a little bit rosy-cheeked underneath it as he makes a slight faux pas as he exited turn 4, lit the rear tyres up straight into the wall. So you don't want to be doing that in about 30 seconds time when they get round to the start of the race. So yeah, Scott will be looking at it and thinking, like his eyes probably lit up, thinking, well, if you're going to make mistakes in the installation and formation lap, maybe I'll have a chance of getting in your head as we get down towards turn 1, because we know, as you say, Scott does reasonably get some pretty decent starts, so might have an option of sending it down the inside of that racing point. And yeah, we will be getting off and underway very, very shortly. You can see KJ sitting down now in 4th position. He's going to filter his way through the traffic ahead to get into that pole position slot. So it's not the Williams and the McLaren that will be rounding out the front row. It will in fact be a Racing Point that will be sitting on the current provisional pole, but he will have to filter through the 3 cars ahead, and we'll be underway very, very shortly for the IRL F1 League round 4 here in Barcelona, Spain, with KJL Tink on pole position, Scott in 2nd position, Boyben OSB, VL Hercules and Harry in 3rd and 4th, with championship leader CRG Gamer in 6th position, as we see the final few cars filtering into their grid positions before we hear those engine notes rising of these V6 hybrids, and you can see the heat haze roaring from the exhaust as we get ready to send it down to turn 1 for lap 1. The 5 lights are up. We've got 3, 4, 5 red laps and we're out and underway here in Spain, and it's a good getaway, it looks, for the KJ on the pole behind Williams. Just about gets pinched inside. KJ trying to get to the inside to cover off Scott. Will Scott go to the inside behind? We've got a lot of positions being changed with 3 wide into turn 1 between the Renault, the Alfa Romeo and the Williams, and by the looks of it, it's just about with contact with the Williams going off, and that's Harry down into the wall, and that's dropping him to the back of the field. So disaster start for the current 2nd position man in the championship. Gamer up into 4th, great start from him, disaster for Harry.
I didn't actually see what actually happened there, but John Polainen is also off now. John Polainen off at the back. I don't know exactly what happened with him either. He was in the gravel as I just flicked over to him. So terrible start for the reigning champion and Harry, who's pushing Gamer at the moment. But Hercules tried ever so hard to get at Boy Better Know at the start, and he almost got him at turn 2. But Boy Better Know was wily and defended well and managed to keep hold of 2nd place. And the moment CRG Gamer, he's had a good start. He's up 2 places into 4th, looking good. So is Charlie. He's up 3 places in 5th in the other McLaren. So at the moment, CRG Gamer doing what he needs to do. He's got the job done early on. It's now focusing on trying to get into that top 3.
Jump line and Harry now in 18th and 19th position, having fallen way down the order after that start. We saw 3 wide as KJ crosses line to start lap 2, and the Racing Point building up a pretty decent lead already. Scott's going to have to try and go with him, but he's got Hercules, who's got yellow in sector 3. Who's that for?
Lozak has crashed into the pit wall on the outside at the final corner, and he's just destroyed his front wing. The front wing is just non-existent anymore, and unfortunately for Lozak, he's going to have to now do a full lap without a front wing, so that is a pretty much race ruiner for him there. I'm not sure what happened there, but his car was completely buried into the wall on the outside, so unfortunately for Lozak, it's just a struggle to get his car back round now.
It brought us a VSC out very, very short or briefly, but it goes back in. So that helped out Harry, who had to make a pit stop at the end of the first lap. So obviously contact with the wall. We've got into the gravel there by the looks of it for, was that CRGL Gamer or Schofielder?
It was CRG Gamer, sorry. CRG Gamer and Charlie were side by side there, going up to turn 9, and Charlie just about held onto 4th place, what it is now, and CRG Gamer had to dip his right front tyre into the gravel, held onto it pretty well, and just about keeps onto it. But yeah, CRG Gamer trying his hardest, but now has dropped down to 5th place, so he's got Schofield not far behind, so he'll probably have to look behind him as well as look forward forward as this battle continues.
DRS is enabled for the first time in the race. 3 laps, of course, have been completed, and we'll see for the first time whether these guys will be able to use it to overtake. And you can see Sam there having a look at the inside of Scopefielder into turn 1, not quite close enough. These guys all pretty evenly spread as Scopefielder gets a huge twitch on the exit of turn 2 then. That's going to open the door for Sam to get a run in. We've got a yellow in sector 1. Who's that
Speed
for?
Queen. Speed Queen's lost it at turn 2. I'm not sure if she got tagged, but she was facing the wrong way. Unfortunately, that's dropped her right down, and John Polainen now, who had dropped all the way down, has managed to overtake, and John Polainen up into 16th place.
And yep, so that's Speed Queen. So the Red Bulls not starting off well, down in 17th and 19th position. Lozak making that pit stop after losing that front wing on the exit, the final corner last lap, which brought out a very brief virtual safety car. And we can see everyone making that run down towards the hairpin at turn 10. DRS is open, and yeah, you can see it's with DRS open for so many guys, it's probably pretty much nullified it for everyone, because you end up running around in a DRS train. But Scott now is starting to come under threat from Hercules behind. So Hercules half a second behind the Williams, and this is allowing KJ to stretch his legs, and it's a 1.7 of second gap he's now got. But Hercules starting to equally come under equal threat from you can see everyone flashing up with fastest laps there. It's a 1:21 for Gamer, but he's going with these 2 McLarens being somewhat held up by the Williams of Scott, as Scott falls back from the lead battle, and he's now got Hercules and Charlie swarming all over the back of him.
Like I say, this is really going to help KJ out no end, isn't it? He's got a 1.5 second lead right now in his race point, and I have to say he's done everything right at the start. He got away well. Zab just jinxed him, I think. He nearly lost it and nearly went into the grass there. Had to get out of it so quickly, and KJ just about keeps that racing point on the track. Wow, talk about commentator's curse. He nearly put it into the gravel. He's lost about 3-4 tenths there, but just about keeps it going, and KJ remains in the lead.
And CRG Gamer half a second behind Charlie now, of course. Went into the gravel and lost a position a few laps prior. Goes a little bit deeper there into the into turn 10 at the hairpin, and now climbing the hill into this right-hander. And he can see second position ahead of him. He knows that his championship compatriot is down in 18th position. So Harry is not having the great of races, and kind of desperately needs a safety car to close up the field, because at the moment he'll be racing around pretty much on his own. 26 seconds he's got between himself and Speed Queen, as Scott, Hercules, and I imagine we'll see some more flashing up with Hercules, the fastest lap of 1:21.5. Will we see anyone make a move? You can see Hercules getting closer and closer, not quite close enough to get up alongside Scott, but the battle's still going on for second position.
John Polainen is side by side with Cliffy down in 16th place. They've both got DRS. Who's late on the brakes? John Polainen goes terribly deep into turn 1. That allows Cliffy to come back, and John Polainen just being a bit too eager at the moment, trying to regain those positions, and he remains in 16th place. Cliffy defending well.
Yep, the Finn in 16th after that early contact on lap 1 that sent him and Harry into the gravel trap, and luckily for John Polainen, I don't think he had to make a pit stop, so he just managed to recover from his race. But up ahead, we've still got the battle going on for second, so we'll go back on board with that very shortly. We've got Andrew Lockdock chasing down TR44S as the 2 Mercedes round out 10th and 11th position. We've got Foxy Red chasing down Samuel Pepito with Scopefielder, with Sam, Foxy and Warrislander for close company. As John Polainen once again deep there, just manages to miss the rear end of Cliffy. You could probably see the racing point getting closer and closer, and Cliffy equally getting close to the exhaust pipes of the Haas ahead of him of White Fountain, as KJ, Charlie, Gamer all do fastest laps, and so the track is definitely ramping up. It's getting a little bit less green, and we're getting faster, especially as the fuel levels lower. We'll see faster times. We've got yellow in sector 2 now. We'll see. I'm sure Sab will be able to fill us in on who that's for.
It's Lozak has lost it again, sorry. Lozak at the back is unfortunately having a night to forget, unfortunately, and he's now fallen further behind.
This is a cracking battle here, over right down in sort of the teen positions, and Cliffy trying to go to the inside of White Fountain, and Lozak does retire from the race in down in last position. He was in 19th. Cliffy, great move there past Fountain. We've got a Toro Rosso off the road. That looks like it might be Adri Lockdock. It is, and Adri falling off the field and with front wing damage, and equally behind. We're now back under VSC once again for the Toro Rosso that was recovering back on track, so neutralising the race, and they kind of take a little bit of a breather, because at the moment we've had a brilliant start to this race.
We have, and you say it right, you do need to just take a breather. You're just trying to go through the whole field. There's so many little battles going off at the moment. I've been trying to keep an eye on mainly the battle you was just talking about with Cliffy Whitefan and John Polino. John Polino, he's really pushing, isn't he? And there was several times where you thought he was just going to outbreak himself every time and run into the back of Cliffy or White Fountain, and just about held on to it. So John Polino biting at it as much as he can, but unfortunately he's just pushing a bit too hard at the minute. If he just does his normal racecraft, I would imagine he would get these positions done. As we're back green again, virtual safety car has ended, and they can go racing again, and the battle for 12th place at the moment commences again.
And the battle for 4th place is back on again, with CRG Gamer really closing in on Charlie under VSC, trying to make sure he minimised the delta as much as possible, and it was quite entertaining. They got right to the end of the DRS zone, but both of them still decided to use that extra slight second and a half or so of DRS. So the flap opened for a brief moment of time, then closed again before turn 1. So both drivers trying to eke out as much speed as possible as Charlie looks to defend from Gamer, but equally keep up with Hercules, who's now dropped a second behind Scott in his battle for second position. Gamer, DRS on the two McLarens ahead, will be looking to not make the same mistake we saw in qualifying, where he...
Oh no! Becker's lost it! I'm sorry to interrupt, Becker's lost it, and he's pretty much took John Polino out. John Polino carried on going, but had to hit the wall, and that is big damage. Beck just all out of shape and dipped to tie onto the grass, come back onto the racing line. Fortunately, the chasing cars right behind Beck have managed to avoid it, but unfortunately for John Polino, he was an unfortunate victim here, and Beck comes straight across his path. John Polino had nowhere to go. He had to take to the grass, and unfortunately he's hit the wall. John Polino has carried on, which is amazing really, because he's got significant front wing damage, and John Polino's probably just trying to see if he can eke it out and maybe see if there's a safety car or a VSC or something, as Beck does retire from the session. Unfortunately, Beck is out, and yeah, that was just desperately unlucky for John Polino, and now he's falling further behind that Cliffy train with White Fountain Speed Queen.
And it's brought out the safety car, so this is an absolute godsend for Harry, who is in 16th position, and in fact the Williams driver pitting for a new set of tyres. So he's going to go aggressive with strategy, but this is worked out much more favourably for Harry than we were expecting, because yeah, that safety car may save him, because it's going to bring him back up to the pack, and it's going to allow him to possibly fight through and end up in the points. Pushing for anything further than the high end of the points might be a bit of an ask, but it is a huge save for the man currently is second in the championship. We're back under safety car. We've had two VSCs for a spin for Lozak and a spin for Beck, who's retired from the race, and that has now brought out the full safety car. Will we see everyone diving into the pit box? We do. So the two McLarens. Now Scott Hercules is ahead. Is Charlie going to hold back, because he's going to double stack here in McLaren? So these guys are going to have to work overtime.
I don't know if you've seen it, but KJ has just picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So, unfortunately for KJ, that is really going to harm him towards the end of the race. And as you say, there's going to be a lot of double stacking now. Charlie did have to double stack behind, because I was on board with Charlie. He tried to hold off the best he could, but unfortunately it was always going to end up dropping him further down, and it has dropped him down. He's dropped him down into 10th place now, as Hercules in 5th. So yeah, that's unfortunate for him, but as TL44S on the hard tyres has stayed out, and he is now your new race leader as he sits behind the safety car with KJ not far behind. But crucially, KJ now has that 5-second penalty to be added to his times.
That double stack for McLaren has really cost Charlie, and he's now fallen not only behind Gamer but behind Sam and Scopefielder, so down into 10th position for Charlie. So that really hurt him. He obviously couldn't back off anymore to hold up the pack, and he is down in 10th position. And as you say, TL44S on those hard tyres that he started on takes the lead of the race. Cliffy was racing with Hercules as Hercules exited the pit lane, wanting to hold on to the position behind Scott. But Cliffy in the Racing Point has inserted himself right into the middle of this Williams and McLaren battle. So the Racing Point will be right in the wrong position for the German of VL Hercules, because he'll be absolutely appalled that Cliffy got there, because he knew that he'd have the chance of attacking Scott, especially off the start of this or the resumption of the race after the safety car period. So now he's going to have to overtake a car that's, although on relatively fresh tyres, will be on much more worn tyres, so it's going to possibly cost him a lot of time. He's got Fountain behind too, equally Fountain without a stop so far, and he's ahead of Gamer. So Gamer split between himself and Hercules by another car as well. So plenty of cars that started on those hard tyres have inserted themselves into a battle, possibly where they weren't expecting to be.
Definitely, and I just wanted to point out, Speed Queen is coming to the pits like most people, but Speed Queen coming to the pits for a set of soft tyres, which is quite surprising, I have to say. But Speed Queen in for a set of soft tyres, so you'd imagine she will definitely have to come in for another pit stop at some point. But watch out for Speed Queen at the start of the race, because I imagine on those softs she'll be very fast, and she'll be interested to see how she does. She's got Foxy Red in the Alfa Romeo just ahead on the hard tyres, so soft versus hard. You'd imagine there's no real contest.
Yep, everyone looking as though they decided that, well, the guys that came in for a stop, looking as though they're going to the end on the hard tyres, apart from Warrislander and Ice-T, who went from the medium compound, and of course Speed Queen, who's gone for the soft, so she will be committing to another stop, as Warrislander really lighting up the rear tyres of that Ferrari as he exits turn 4. But yeah, himself and the Mercedes behind have decided for the medium rubber, so unless that's a very, very, very soft strategy on those tyres to get to the end, it looks as though those two will be pitting once again. Everyone else on the hard tyres will be pretty comfortable with running to the end, because in Spain the hard tyres can probably do about 3.5 races, let alone a couple of laps around here, because they last forever. Safety car is in this lap, so the yellow lights are out on the safety car. So now it'll be up for TL44S to control the field, and it will be up to him, and possibly putting him in a position that he's not used to, leading the field in IRL F1. He's done it plenty of times. Scott picks up a penalty for collision with KJ, as running into the back of the Racing Point as the guys get a little bit too happy on that throttle pedal. So that's a huge hit for the race winning hopes of Scott, and that's really going to help the likes of Hercules and Gamer, who have got themselves into a good position. What will TL44S do? He's still slowing it down. When's he going to put the hammer down? It's on the exit of the final corner. He's still not gone. Now he goes. And KJ almost losing the back end as he exits the final corner. But we're back in green, underway for the round 4 of the IRL F1 League. And we're green heading down towards turn 1. TL44S leads. KJ Tank in second position. Cliffy looking to get past Scott, and in fact he's still fighting with the Williams driver, and Scott in third position currently. He's got VL Hercules behind in fifth position, so these three battling over position. We know that TL44S and Cliffy will need to make a stop at some point, and they've got themselves involved in this battle, but at the moment the two Racing Points in a nice position, and kind of playing their part in a bit of a crazy battle, because you've got KJ looking to retake the lead. The Mercedes TL currently holding on to it. Scott is now going to probably want to keep Cliffy behind him, and it's going to hold up Hercules.
Yeah, definitely. And another car, I'd have to say, what's frustrating another driver will be White Fountain frustrating Gamers. Gamers trying to get the move done on White Fountain. He's going down the side. Oh, God, they almost touched there. But yeah, White Fountain also hasn't pitted as Gamers trying to bully his way past that Haas car, but the Haas car is not having any of it, and Sam is seeing an opportunity here, and I wonder, is White Fountain gonna try and help his teammate out here and back that Renault back into the Haas for Sam to try and attack? But at the moment, like Cliffy is with Hercules, White Fountain is proving very frustrated for CRG Gamer in 6th place.
Here comes Scott to the inside of KJ, so this is for position on track. Both have got 5-second time penalty, and KJ just snatching it across the nose of Scott, who has to hold off the overtake for now, but it looks as though he's really pushing the Racing Point for the effective lead of the race. We've got a yellow in sector 1 as
Scopefielder.
Scopefielder falling down the order. So the former champion not enjoying this restart. We're now yellow. We'll look to see if it gets a VSC or a safety car, but it looks as though he's managed to get back underway. But back green, but Scott still chasing down KJ. Cliffy still inserted between VL Hercules and Scott in third position, so the German driver will be looking to clear him. You can see Gamer once again lining up White Fountain on the exit. He's going to be coming up to the Haas once again, coming down into turn 10. Is he going to make a lunge? We saw last lap that he thought about it. This time not quite close enough, as Hercules goes deep into the corner as well. So Gamer still behind Fountain. As you say, Fountain possibly helping out his teammate, who's Sam in 8th position, who's of course racing here at his home race, will be looking for a decent result. And Fountain, of course, in his home race last week in Belgium, didn't have the best of races, so he's now going to have a real hard task to hold on to this position, as KJ's now closed up to TL44S, and he's going to look to take the lead down into turn 1. He's got to the inside. Scott and Cliffy are side by side for the position, and then round the outside goes Hercules into turn 1. What a move from the McLaren, really opportunistic.
Well,
Cliffy's going to try and stick with it. There's contact between the two. There's wheel banging round turn 3.
Oh, there's been a big crash between Sam and Gamer. I think it was Sam and Gamer. There was a Haas involved, and Gamer come out the worst of it, and Gamer was sideways going through turn 3, and unfortunately that has dropped Gamer right down to 16th place. I seen a Haas, but I only seen it right at the last moment. I wasn't sure if it was Sam or White Fountain, but ultimately Gamer come out the worst, and Gamer now, our championship leader, is down in 16th place.
Really testy race for these guys, starting to get their elbows out. It's a track that is very hard to find an overtake on unless you get it done in DRS, and these guys looking for every single opportunity, and unfortunately it looks as though Gamer's fallen foul of possibly someone, or maybe himself or someone else, sticking a nose where it maybe shouldn't have been. He now falls down to 16th position, so both our championship leaders in 16th and 14th position, so not great. And surely with that broken front wing, Gamer is going to have to come into the box, because he's looking to go to the end on those hard tyres. So this is a race ruiner for him. He just come in for a new set of tyres to run to the end of the race. So yeah, Sam into the box, so it must have been a collision between Sam and Gamer.
Yeah, it must have been, as Harry is trying to close in up on John Pline. John Pline got the move done, and we just flick forward. Charlie is under massive pressure now. You pointed out Warrislander and Ice-T on those medium tyres. They're going to be fast, and it's proving they are going to be fast, because Charlie is more looking behind him now than looking at White Fountain. He's under severe pressure, Charlie, from both those medium runner cars, as Charlie's now starting to fall slightly far away from this battle for 6th place. He's 1.8 seconds now, but Warrislander in that Ferrari on those medium tyres is really putting the pressure on the McLaren driver now for 7th.
Here comes Hercules. He had a good run through the first sector, but he's not quite close enough, it seems, through the exit. Will Scott think about a move on TL44S, who's now dropped down to 2nd position? KJ's now starting to stretch that lead out once again that he had early in the race. Scott now having to clear a Mercedes that wasn't there earlier in the race, and he's going to want to get past him as soon as possible. He's going to have DRS, and unfortunately for TL44S, DRS won't be available for him, with KJ 1.8 seconds up the road. So he's about to unfortunately get swamped, because it looks as though there's going to be a bit of a mammoth train of cars looking to overtake him. Here comes Scott to the inside of the Mercedes, down into turn 1, gets the move done. Will TL4 fight him? Looks as though he thinks against it, and Hercules unfortunately not able to get a bit of a secondary tow and sending down the inside. He's going to have to stick behind the Mercedes. Will he make a move here into turn 4? No, not quite close enough, but a lot of cars in very close quarters.
The two medium runner cars I've just been speaking about have been making it a bit easier for Charlie. They've been battling themselves into turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3, and they at one point were side by side, and that's allowed Charlie to build up a little bit of a gap to these two. And what it's also done is it's brought Foxy Red, Speed Queen, Harry and John Pline, and Harry, by the way, has got past John Pline, so Harry now up into 12. It's brought those guys up into the battle with these medium runners. So at the minute, as Ice-T now tries one again on Warrislander, elbows right out there, just about holds on, and they're still side by side here. The Warislander and Ice-T still swapping places. Are they going to... No, just about. Ice-T gets the move done in the end. Ice-T just about gets that move done and moves up into 8th place, and Warislander has to yield and drops to 9th, but that's allowed Foxy Red to come right up to the battle of this.
There was it's just the gap between those two was so close. It was minimal. You can see it looks as though one of them was about to hook the other one's tyres, but Warislander now trying to go to the inside and gets back around Ice-T there in 8th and 9th position. Foxy in 10th position, still staying with it, and Speed Queen on those soft tyres is still in the fight in 11th. Harry now up into 12th position is closing in on this battle, and he probably won't want to be involved in it. If anything, he probably would want to be picking off drivers one at a time, not getting involved in big battles as Hercules closes in once again on TL44S, and Scott now starting to make a breakaway. He's up a second ahead of TL44S, so now it's going to be Hercules that needs to get the move past the... Oh, Scott almost loses the car and he's down. Oh, he just got onto the grass and he's going to get onto the grass again, and that's going to cost him positions. Does he drop out past Hercules? He does. So Scott now down into 4th position and almost losing the position to Cliffy. Got onto the grass and the exit of turn 8 all out of shape, and the Williams driver dropping from 2nd back down into 4th, losing the positions that he just gained, and even worse for him, he's now behind the Mercedes and Hercules is ahead.
It's all happening, isn't it? You just don't know where to look right now. And what a train we've got here behind Hercules. TL4S it's just about hanging on in there, but you'd imagine if he hasn't got picked up the RS, he does pick up the RS, so he should be able to help him defend from Scott, who's going to try and attack the best he can down to turn 1, but TL4S has got enough of a gap there to keep Scott behind him for now, and at the moment it's just unravelling slightly for Scott. He needs to just keep his head slightly as Ice-T and Warislander once again swap places, and now Ice-T is back up into 8th place, and that battle I was saying they might be doing for Charlie, they've just got away from him, and Charlie's now 3 seconds ahead of this battle.
Scott has now cleared TL44S for 3rd position, so he's back up into the podium places, but he's now behind his German rival with Hercules in 2nd. KJ Tank now leading by 2.6 seconds. Cliffy is now chasing down Cliffy's now chasing that TL44S and White Fountain, so 3 drivers who are yet to stop, currently in 4th, 5th and 6th position, with Charlie at the back of that pack. So a lot of drivers ahead of him that are going to have to pit in a couple of laps time, go onto the medium tyres, and he's currently sitting at the back of it. So Charlie might have to bide his time a little bit here, but he won't want to do it too long, because TVH Ice-T is in 8th position, Warislander in 9th position. Those two, as you say, battling over position on the medium tyres, and we'll see if we get any other changes. Adri jumps past jumper line, and then Adri went on board with them. He was almost at a completely 90-degree angle to which way he should be going, so he's cleared jumper line, so possibly a mistake for jumper line. He drops down to 14th position.
Here comes Charlie on White Fountain. McLaren versus Haas, but White Fountain just about has enough legs there to keep the McLaren driver behind. Charlie really putting the pressure on White Fountain now. Right up the rear end of that Haas. Can he get any moves done? No, he can't. He thinks better of it, and White Fountain at the moment remains... just looking, you've got 3 guys there out on 17-lap-old hard tyres. You've got the medium runners who you'd imagine have to still come in, and you've also got Speed Queen who you'd imagine have to come in. So that's 6 cars who you'd imagine have to come in to pits. So that's 6 cars. If Harry maintains the way he's going at the moment, that's 6 places he'll be able to make up, plus whatever he can do. So it's not all lost for Harry at the moment. He just needs to keep his head right now.
No, and he is a couple of positions, 2 or 3 positions ahead of CRG Gamer, who's still out there on that broken front wing as Cliffy clears TL44S and gets up into 4th position. Of course, these guys are all due to stop in the next few laps to make their most likely one and only pit stop, but White Fountain holding off Charlie at the moment, and he's doing a pretty good job of it. Of course, both the McLaren of Charlie and the Haas team have had their issues in the past, but we'll see if they can resolve it pretty cleanly. But Charlie's now got a really good run. He's almost pushing the Haas down the back straight. A bit of bump drafting between the McLaren, but you can see even with DRS, he's struggling to get the move on. He's going to wait until the last minute to send it up the inside. Is it going to get done? It does just about get done, and he just sends it up the inside line. A little bit of wheel rubbing between the pair, but Charlie now up into 6th position.
that was a position I think Charlie needed to do, and he just about got it done, didn't he? It was the last of the late breakers there, and that does promote him up to 6th place. He's got TL44S ahead of him next, and imagine TL44S it'd be quite easy work for Charlie at TL4S on 18 lap old hard tyres. He's starting to now fall away from this front running pack, and like you say, you'd imagine these guys will be coming into the pits any lap now, as they Cliffy is just about hanging on in there as well in 4th place, but he's also started to fall away from Scott in 3rd.
Charlie now closing in on TL44S for 5th position on track. And as I was saying, guys, welcome to everyone joining the stream. Hopefully you're enjoying it tonight. Make sure if you are, you press that like button and subscribe if you're not already for more incredible IRL F1 content every Monday night at 8 PM. We've currently got FPL Charlie on camera chasing down TL44S, with TL44S, White Fountain and Cliffy7765 due to stop, and into the box they come. So all the drivers that are yet to stop, apart from Cliffy, who stayed out there, so he's the only one on track that hasn't stopped so far this race. Everyone else had to stop on lap 1, or sorry, Fountain has made that stop. Sorry, he's okay. Yeah, so Cliffy is the last one to make a stop so far, but that releases Charlie to chase down for Cliffy, who you've got to imagine will be coming in the next lap or two, and chase down his former teammate Scott, who's chasing down his current teammate Hercules.
Harry now has just set the fastest lap, by the way. Harry up into 9th place as CRG Gamer finally gives up with that car, and he's into the pits as well onto a set of medium tyres. He's coming back out in 16th place, and it's been a real tough session so far for CRG Gamer, and with Harry in 9th place with potentially 3 other cars still to come in, as an opportunity tonight, doesn't he, to Harry's lost it, Harry's completely lost, he's out. He's lost it. What corner was that? Just before turn 10, turn 9, he dipped a tyre right out, and I apologise for the commentator's curse there, and unfortunately that has brought out the virtual safety car, and Harry was absolutely flying, just set the fastest lap of the race, dipped a tyre onto the grass, put him into the wall on the right, the wheel come off, race over for Harry. Unfortunately for him, it's going to be no points tonight from him. CRG Gamer will be breathing somewhat of a sigh of relief, because his closest rival won't be scoring any points either tonight.
And into the box comes KJ Tank, who has to serve a 5-second penalty before he puts on a new set of tyres. So the race leader is going to shave off a lot of time, and his teammate Cliffy double stacking behind. So his penalty is going to cost his teammate the chance as well, because Cliffy having to stack behind the racing point of a KJ, who was having to wait for his penalty to be served. So a double hit for the Racing Point drivers there, as the VSC drops KJ back to 7th position. He's on the medium tyres. He's got a 6-second gap between himself and Adrian Lockdot, but this race has been turned on its head, with the likes of CRG Gamer into the wall, and now having to make a stop in 15th position. And Harry, we just went on board with him. We were sitting just in T-Cam, and unfortunately for him, running out just a fraction too wide on the exit of turn 9 into the wall. He looked as though he was going to survive, tagged the rear right tyre, and it just turned the car into the wall, and that took the front right off. And unfortunately, that is the race over for the man currently second in the championship. Absolute disaster for him.
White Fountain has now lost it. White Fountain is trying to get his car up and running again. He does eventually get up and running again. Unfortunately, White Fountain has dropped it right down, and he's dear. CRG Gamer, I don't know if that was a bit of revenge or what, but CRG Gamer just came out of nowhere really and turned White Fountain back around. White Fountain came back onto the track, but he looked like he came back onto the track on the racing line, and CRG Gamer didn't really have anywhere to go by the looks of it, and turned the Haas car back round again. So White Fountain now just gone from bad to worse for him. Unfortunately, he's just come back on those medium tyres. He's now all the way down in 15th place.
Yeah, it looks as though Gamer committed to the corner at turn 7 there, and at turn 6, and yeah, as you say, White Fountain just rolled into the racing line, maybe not expecting the Renault to come in at the speed he did, turned it back around, and Fountain's lap goes from bad to worse, drops him down to 15th position. So well, that's not great for the Belgian, currently now in the second to last position with Scopefielder in 16th. So after promising in qualifying, Scopefielder down in 16th position. Jumper Linen, however, up into 5th position now. So the last season's IRL F1 champion is currently running on the same amount of tyres as everyone in 5th position, but we've currently got 2 McLarens on the podium with VL Hercules leading the race, Scott in 2nd position, Charlie in 3rd, Foxy Red in 4th position, Jumper Line in 5th, and Adri Lockdock as TL44S picks up a time penalty there, 3 seconds. Adri Lockdock quite happy in 6th position.
Going well is the Toro Rosso driver, and he's not that far away from John Planen either, just over a second there. But I think all eyes has to be on the racing point of KJ. Now he's on those medium tyres. What can he do? Because he's catching up to the back of Adri Lockdock very quickly. There you go. He's just set new fastest lap with a 1:18.9 there. So KJ on those new set of mediums will be very interesting to watch, because if he catches up to the back of this pack very quickly, he's going to make things very interesting for the front running guys. What are they going to do? Are they going to be able to sit out on those hard tyres? Because you imagine KJ on brand new mediums against 14 lap old hard tyres should be easy work for him.
And Sam moving up past Speed Queen into 12th position. So the hometown man gets up past the former 3-time IRL champion, so Speed Queen down into 13th position now, and that, of course, ever-present pink and yellow helmet of hers currently out of the points, which is not where she'll want to be at all. But Sam gets past her, and these two battling outside of the points. We've got KJ now really closing on Adri Lockdock and sends it to the inside. It looks as though Adri deciding not to battle him, realising that perhaps that KJ on those fresh mediums wasn't really his battle this evening, and then KJ will be looking at closing in on Jumper Line, and perhaps Adrian Lockdock playing the safe game and the clever game of letting KJ pass and hoping that Jumper Line will possibly get held up by him and he can undergo his battle that we've seen Adrian Lockdock moving past and getting past and being passed by Jumper Line a couple of times this evening, as KJ does another fastest lap, a 1:19.7. So it looks as though those medium tyres are working very nicely.
Cliffy, who was double stacked, unfortunately, behind his teammate in that pit stop phase, came out behind Ice-T, and Cliffy now on the set of medium tyres is putting pressure on Ice-T in that Mercedes, and he's not got TL44S too far behind, 1.4 seconds, so Cliffy down in 10th place now, but you imagine he's going to be as fast as his teammate if he can get past the likes of Ice-T, and then the next task will be to try and catch up with Warrislander, who's about 4 seconds up the road from this pack.
KJ now closing on Jumper Line, but we're just sticking with Cliffy as he sits behind the Mercedes of Ice-T, goes for, or has a look, and that's not really an overtaking move there, but possibly just sticking his nose down the inside line, just let Mercedes know that he's there, and the Racing Point will have a really good opportunity of using the DRS to send it down in the inside of turn 10. Will he think about it? Not quite. Peels to the inside once again, just having a think about it, putting the feelers out there, but not quite having the closing distance. As what else have we got?
Oh no, I was riding on board with KJ, and he was just a tap off of Jump Line. I thought he'd knocked him round, but unfortunately for KJ, fortunately for Jump Line, it didn't knock him out, and unfortunately now KJ has quite comfortably got past the Renault, and improving those medium tyres are so much superior compared to 16 lap old hard tyres. Next up the road, 4.7 seconds up the road, is Foxy Red to catch.
Yep, so a little bit of work for KJ to do. And we've got 8 laps to do it, so yeah, it looks like he's got plenty of time to make that move if he wants to. He just needs to look after those tyres until the end of this race. Cliffy still closing in on Ice-T for 9th position, and the Racing Point's still stuck behind the Mercedes, and he's now in a bit of a Mercedes sandwich with TL44S closing in equally on him. So we'll see as KJ picks up 3 seconds there. So KJ picking up a penalty, so that is going to hurt him. He's taken his 5-second penalty that he picked up early for the transgression with the speeding in the pit lane, but unfortunately for him, that's now added 3 seconds to his race time results. So we'll see as Cliffy once again not quite close enough to get the move done on the Mercedes, and this is helping TL44S close in as the Mercedes look at finishing up in the points and getting a double point score, which would help them out very nicely in this somewhat early stages. We're at the third of the way through the season, 4 rounds of 12 done. The Mercedes needing to really get off the mark with some decent points results, and it looks as though TL44S is going to get a bit of a monster tow with a double effect here with his teammate Ice-T in 9th position, Cliffy in 10th. Who's going to be able to get the move done? Cliffy's got a good run here on Ice-T. He's going to go to the inside line. It's going to have to be a late move into turn 1. Is there contact between the two? It's relatively clean so far. Cliffy's going to go to the outside. That's going to turn to the inside line. Gets the move done. Will TL44S be able to hold on to the position, or will Ice-T be able to hold on to the position, or will his teammate be able to follow him through? Ice-T still battling with Cliffy side by side. These two swapping positions, and we'll see. Will he just about holds on to being on the black stuff? He's going to try and go down the inside. There's a little bit of contact between the pair, and there's once again a little bit more wheel banging between the pair, but good racing between the Racing Point and the Mercedes as Cliffy just about holds on to the position.
That was really good race. I was riding on board with TL44S and I had a perfect view of that, and unfortunately TL44S was just fractionally out of range to be able to do anything about that, and now he'll be wanting to try and attack his teammate, but Ice-T, the front-running Mercedes out of the two, will not be wanting any of that, will he? He'll want to get revenge on Cliffy and try and get that place back, but it's a nice little battle for 9th place at the minute, but we haven't really got many close battles, have we, right now, across the whole of the race at the moment. Everybody quite evenly spread out, as you see. Hercules still out in the lead, 3.1 seconds ahead of Boy Bettino, but crucially for me, Boy Bettino still has that 5-second penalty, so at the moment he will probably drop down to 3rd, but it all depends, I reckon, what KJ can manage to do. Can he reel them in and potentially steal a place off of Boy Bettino? But at the moment, the McLaren team is looking very positive for at least podium places at the moment. An unlikely scenario, I have to say, because at the beginning of this race, I certainly didn't expect that.
No, and I know we've got a couple of big McLaren fans and fans of both Charlie and Hercules watching, so I'm sure they'll be absolutely delighted with the prospect of a 1-2 finish for the Woking-based team. So, yeah, good run for the evening for them so far. Hopefully they can maintain it over the next 6.5 laps as Hercules comes around to start lap 28 very shortly, I would imagine. And, yep, there you go, ticks over to lap 28 of 33, so not long left to go at the end of this one, and he will be looking at picking up his first win of the season with Gamer outside of the points. Harry crashing out about 4 or 5 laps ago, meaning that the championship could be blown wide open with guys being able to get back involved in this battle, because potentially a no score will allow the likes of Hercules, the likes of Scott and Charlie, the ability to close up on that battle that was starting to break up with Gamer and Harry ahead. But TL44S now looking to the inside of his teammate and moves past him into turn 1 here. So the two Mercedes working together, it seems, and it looks as though Ice-T wasn't going to battle his teammate too hard, and that's allowed TL44S up into the points. And of course, a bit of a stalwart of the Realistic Performance League for a few seasons, TL44S making the move into IRL F1 this season as Charlie picks up 3 seconds. So that's going to hurt in his bid to overhaul the likes of Scott, who's got that 5 seconds. So it means that Charlie now has to get within 2 seconds of Scott if he's going to make up second position.
Yeah, that could really cost him a chance of second place, as he's falling away now from Scott. It was around 3.9 seconds. It's up to 4.5 seconds now. So at the moment, Charlie's going more backwards than he is forwards right now, as it's creeping up to 4.6, 4.7 seconds now. So at the moment, it is all favouring Scott, but out of everybody, it's still favouring Hercules. He's sitting comfortably at the front, and this is what we've seen a lot of last season, was it? Hercules out in front, and 9 times out of 10, you would see him cruise to victory, and we haven't seen this yet this season from Hercules, and with Gamer out of contention, like you said earlier, it's a real chance for Hercules to get himself back in this battle for the championship tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. The German looking at picking up a first victory of the season. Of course, 2 of the first 3 have been taken by Gamer. The other one was taken by Harry. So it looks as though Hercules will hopefully add his name to the list, and obviously I don't want to be told off for making any predictions and costing anyone any positions, and we've already seen a couple of commentators' curses so far this season, and I'd say that you're probably the worst one for it. So yeah, it's we'll see if the McLarens can hold on to this one, because Yeah, I'm very precarious about who I go on camera with because I don't want to see them make any errors. Because unfortunately for Harry, I was on board with him just as he
Yeah.
made that mistake. So I'm sure the Williams driver will be giving me a little bit of scorn later as he realises everyone got to saw his mistake in full HD, and it's into the wall for the Williams driver and out of the race. Luckily for him, his title rival in 13th position. His gamer is closing in on Sam, but unfortunately not really at a rate of knots that will allow him to get past and close up the extra 5 seconds to close in on the top 10, which is currently TL44S. Jumperlinen had got within a second of KJ in the previous 2 laps, but it looks as though it may have just been a mistake for the Racing Point driver because Jumperlinen now back to a 2 second gap. But as Warrislander swaps positions between himself and Adrian Lockdock, so Warrislander on 9-lap-old mediums manages to get past the Toro Rosso, as Adri now falling back through the pack a little bit, but he'll, I'm sure, be pretty happy after Toro Rosso have endured a torrid start to this season with consecutive DNFs in every race so far for both team members. So Adri will be looking at picking up his first points of the season, and he's currently chasing down Warrislander, but it looks as though Warris might stretch his legs with that Ferrari on those medium tyres. The Toro Rosso having to sit behind and hope for those 3 extra points he'll be grabbing in 8th position.
Yeah, I was riding on board with Warrislander as he was building up a move on Adri, and unfortunately, Adri just didn't have much of a chance to defend 22-lap-old hard tyres without DRS. Warrislander with DRS on 9-lap medium tyres, and it was an easy move for the Ferrari driver down into Tier 1, got the move done comfortably. Warrislander now looking set to be finishing in 7th place, albeit if there's any penalties, and 5.5 seconds from jump line. I can't imagine about 3 laps to go, he's going to make up that sort of time. But for one person I want to point out is KJ. He's now just 2 seconds behind Foxy Red in 4th place. Foxy Red on 22-lap hard tyres as well. KJ really near him in at a rate of knots, and an opportunity here for KJ to steal 4th place.
As Ice-T gets back past teammate TL44S as these two Mercedes battle over the final point this evening. A slight mistake for TL44S on the final corner. He just got a little bit out of shape on the runoff area, and that's dropped him back past his teammate as these two still battling over that 10th place finish. We've got gaps between a lot of drivers in the field now, so that will give us time to let you know what's going on for the rest of the week here in Invictus Racing League. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 8 PM, is Malc and Tim in the commentary box for the Realistic Performance League race here in Spain as TL then picks up 3 seconds. So those guys will be making their 4th appearance of the season on a Tuesday night. Wednesday night, of course, you've got Equal Performance F1, Equal Performance F2, sorry, and F3, with Dan and James covering F2 and Harry and Charlie covering F3, and they'll both be back 8 PM on Wednesday night. So choose your stream, sorry, on Wednesday night, and then on Sunday, of course, if you can't join us on PS4, come and join us on Xbox as we stream 9:30 PM Sunday evenings. The IRL F1 XBOX League are here in Spain for their 3rd round of the season, sorry, as they are a race behind in the championship. But yeah, so Xbox on a Sunday night, 8 and 9:30 PM. I'm losing the ability to talk. I've been talking for an hour and a half, but it's always good, always exciting, and you can find out more about Invictus by going to invictusracingleague.com or go to the socials, Invictus RL on Twitter, Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram for all the socials. Get on the grid for F1 2020, which will be coming up in a few months' time. And as TL44S loses the car on the exit of turn 4, and that's dropped him back down behind Sam, and it's going to possibly drop him behind Gamer. So Gamer, a free position for him, and TL44S just lighting up the rear tyres on the exit of turn 4 and turning the car around, keeps it out of the wall, but an embarrassing moment for him, and unfortunately for him, dropping it out of 11th position and still within a shout of a point, but down to 13th and now behind CRG Gamer as Adrian Lockdock and Cliffy now trading positions over 8th and 9th position.
We're on to the last lap, lap 33 of 33. I'm right on board with KJ Elton, and right now he is ever so close to Foxy Red. 4th place is there within his reach, but just slightly ahead is Charlie. He's only 1.4 seconds ahead of Foxy Red, so at the moment KJ Elting has a potential opportunities, not still fourth, but even potentially still third, because Charlie has a 3-second time penalty. So at the moment, this could really play into the hands of KJ Tink for a podium here, as he's harrying the back of that Alfa Romeo.
And unfortunately, a puncture for Adjalokdok of 25 laps he's done on those hard tyres. A puncture for him. We'll see him coming. He's surely coming into the. He was going to do a lap on that punctured tyre to end the race. But yeah, the Toro Rosso driver dropping out of the points. And unfortunately, yeah, you can see dropping down now in well down the order. That puncture, he's going to try and finish the race on it, but it's going to be Hercules that will be coming around the final 2 corners now to pick up his first win of the season, and another one to add to his tally here in Invictus comes across the line. Hercules is your race winner for round 4 of the IRL F1 League. Scott in second position, and of course he's got that penalty. Will Charlie be able to overhaul him? He's got a 3-second penalty, unfortunately not able. KJ and Foxy Red just about, as you say, snatches a podium finish. FPL Charlie manages to use KJ's extra penalty to hold on ahead of him. So Foxy Red, an unlikely podium position. Cliffy is going to, you've got KJ in 5th, Jumper Line in 6th, Warrislander in 7th, Cliffy in 8th. Ice-T and Sam are going to battle over the final positions in the points, 9th and 10th. Gamer outside of the points, he's going to come across the line in 11th. TL44S is in 12th position. Adrelokdok is still out there on that punctured tyre. He's maybe going to hold on to the position because White Fountain is closing in at a rate of knots, and he's going to be sniffing blood for the Toro Rosso that's very slow. Will he be able to overhaul him? This could be a race to the line between the Haas and the Toro Rosso. It looks as though Toro Rosso is just going to get him on the line, and he does. Adrelokdok in 13th, White Fountain in 14th. Speed Queen is in 15th, and the last of the races on the lead lap. Unfortunately, Scopefielder finished a lap down and was in 16th position, and that rounds out a fascinating race that saw Charlie have that podium position snatched away with him with that penalty with a couple of laps left to go, and an unlikely one for Alfa Romeo driver Foxy Red 2000, who I'm sure when we'll hear from him very shortly will be absolutely delighted with that.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't realise KJ had a penalty himself. I firmly believed he was going to steal the 3rd place. Unfortunately for him, it wasn't the case, and like you say, an unlikely podium for Fox Red. But you've got to take these chances, haven't you? There was problems for a few front runners this evening, and penalties galore have given you this opportunity. And when you get these opportunities, you've just got to take them. And a big congratulations to him. But it's a first win of the season for Hercules, and can this now be the start of his season and really take it to Gamer and Harry, especially them finishing where they have tonight?
Absolutely, as he takes the race victory for Hercules takes the race victory in 47 minutes and 2 seconds, 10 seconds up the road from Scott, and Foxy Red from 10th to 3rd on the grid, so great race there from the Alfa Romeo. FPL Charlie is in 4th with KJL Tink, the pole man, unfortunately falling back to 5th position. Jumper Linen up to from 9th to 6th, so good race from him. Warrisland equally into the points from 11th into 7th. Cliffy finishes in the points from 19th to 8th, great race from the Racing Point. And then we've got Ice-T in 9th position. Sam, of course, made up with Adrelokdok's late puncher. CRG Gamer finishing just outside of the points with TL44S. Adrelokdok, White Fountain, Speed Queen finishing on the lead lap. Scopefielder finishing a few laps down after a couple of mistakes. And of course, we lost Harry, we lost Beck 9000, and we lost. Who else? Lozak, of course, we lost, and we welcome the guys to the box, and I'm sure Sab will have a few questions as soon as we've got all 3 of them in. We're just waiting for Scott to join, and but Sab, just quickly round up before we go to these guys and talk to them about their race. That was a fascinating one, wasn't it? Because you never quite knew what was happening. That safety car really shook it up in the midpoint in the race.
It really did, and you thought that safety car would have given an opportunity for Harry to come back and really challenge, and you thought at the moment when he picked up that fastest lap he was going to really get himself back into the chance of scoring good points, and unfortunately that big crash what he had ruined his any chance of scoring points tonight, and gave opportunities for everybody else to try and score tonight. And with the CRG Gamer not scoring as well, it's allowed Hercules and everybody else to really ramp it up. And as you say, it was a very fascinating race to watch overall. I wouldn't say the excitement levels were like as last week, but overall fascinating to see the different strategies and different ways people were trying to take on this race, even with a couple of VSCs and the safety car. We've got everybody in the chat with us now. We will start with tonight's race winner, Hercules. Congratulations on the win tonight. I would have to say, I don't know if you would agree with me, might have been an unlikely win tonight, but you've seen the likes of Gamers struggling in qualifying and ultimately struggling in the race, and eventually you took your race victory, the first one of the season. How did the race pan out for yourself?
Quali was quite okay. I mean, I was happy to be in the 17th with that practice, so wasn't a bad situation to start at P3. And then, yeah, it was full of safety cars, and I was really planning for safety cars. Yeah, so I was running like minus fuel, so which helps to stay with the front runners because I was really lacking with practice, and I think Scott in the beginning I was faster, but I could keep up. And yeah, then safety car, obviously you go to the hard and then just try to survive until the end. And yeah, that's what I did. And I don't know, I think it was a Force India who was first. I think it was KJ.
Yeah.
But I don't know why he pitted, so I don't know what he was planning, but yeah, it was a lucky win then at the end because he pitted. Because I think we were really, we had equal pace and it would be really hard to catch up to him, but who knows? At the end, I was really, really quick, so I did my fastest lap at the end, so I was warmed up then.
Well, it's good to see you back winning again. And usually when we do see it at the front, it's usually a bad sign for everybody else. So congratulations for you on your first victory this season. And we move on to second place, Scott. Scott, you haven't been on the podium since the first race of the season, but tonight and in Spain in general, from what I've seen in practice, you look really on it. And unfortunately, that 5 second, well, fortunately for you, I should say, that 5 second penalty didn't end up costing you. But second place, I think you'd be pretty pleased with that, won't you?
Yeah, I'll take second. I threw it away really at the chicane in the second sector and nearly lost it and put it on the grass, and then Hercules passed me, so I'm a bit gutted about that. But yeah, I'll take second. It's points, and you know, with Gamer and unfortunately Harry not finishing and Sam down, at the bottom of the points, it was it's bunched things up a little bit, which is what we needed.
Yeah, most certainly. It's allowed you guys to really catch up, and like you say, that slight incident what allowed Hercules to get past. What I can imagine was very frustrating, but in the end, it's good points for you and for your team, especially with Harry not scoring. So, congratulations on second place, and finally to Foxy. Foxy, welcome to the top three podium. We haven't had you in here for such a long time. It was an unlikely podium, I have to say. I didn't expect you to get third place. In the end, you started 10th on the grid, and in the end, you just got the race done without any penalties and took advantage at the end. How was the race for yourself, and did you expect to be sitting here tonight talking with us?
Well, hands are shaking like crazy. Like that last 3-4 laps, I noticed I was closing on Charlie. I was like, right, let's get him under pressure. Let's see if he can make a mistake. And then there was the Force India behind gaining on me like crazy as well. And then I checked my tyres and they were 70%. I thought, oh, they're going to blow. And I knew that Charlie had a penalty, so it was crazy. Yeah, everyone just seemed to pit some time during my last stint, and it just boosted me up. I thought, right, I could finish 8th, and then I was like, right, I could finish 6th, and out of nowhere I was in 4th. So, yeah, pushing Charlie all the way was great.
Yeah, well, congratulations. It's certainly thoroughly deserved. You drove a pretty clean race, and in the end, you got what you deserved. So, congratulations for third place. I just want to move back to our race winner. Even we move on to Germany, your home Grand Prix next week.
Oh.
Can we possibly see now a resurgence from yourself? Now you've got this race victory, and really take it to Gamer and Harry, and really give us a race and a championship battle that we hope to see this season?
At the moment, I don't really see me in the battle. I think I'm still a few points ahead of Gamer and Harry, and maybe Scott. I'm not sure. So yeah, I think I have to be. It was a lucky win today, so that I was overperforming. Just Gamer and Harry we had a little bit of crashes and not as much luck as I. But I think Germany is a good track for me. Um, yeah, but I think because of Corona and the lockdown, they have much time to train. And I'm one of those guys who still works and works more at this time, so it will be hard to get some training in. But yeah, I will give it all. And normally Germany is one of the tracks I'm better. Yeah.
We look forward to that then. And Gareth, just coming back to you, it's a podium tonight. I don't think either of us would have probably called.
No, no, and I say that I'm sure they'll be a little bit dismayed that we wouldn't think they would be on the podium. But yeah, it is one that we haven't seen so far. Obviously with CRG Gamer and with Harry not having a great evening, but it is always good to see podiums like this because it does shake up the field a little bit and it closes that gap between the likes of Hercules and Scott to the guys at the top, and it adds Foxy into a little bit of a battle, perhaps in the midfield to the top or upper end of the field, and of course adding to the battle in the constructors. So this works out very nicely indeed for the championship, as we've got a really decent run of races now before the end of the end of the first half of the season. So it's a fantastic way for us to end this first half of the season, and it's yeah, it's setting us up very nicely. I'm sure Gamer will be looking at coming back next week with a little bit more vigor. I'm sure Harry will be looking at avenging that crash that he's had this evening that put him out of the race. So we could be in store for an absolutely mega race next week, and a fantastic way to round off what's been a brilliant start to the season.
Yeah, most definitely, and I can't wait now to go again next week going into Germany. Now we've had tonight's battles and CRG Game and Harry not scoring. It certainly opened it up, and hopefully we get to see the likes of Hercules Scott and a few others. And unfortunately Charlie, with his penalty in the end, cost him, really pushed to these championship. But what a race we've had tonight, and like I said earlier, it wasn't quite the spectacular race we had last week with the wet weather, but it certainly was a very interesting race to watch, and I most certainly would recommend people watch it back if you didn't get a chance to watch it and you've just tuned in now. But yeah, huge congratulations to everybody on the podium. I don't mean any disrespect when I say I didn't expect to see you on the podium. It's just the way the season has gone so far this season. It certainly raised a few eyebrows seeing the podium tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and it sets, as you say nicely, for Hockenheim next week, where I'm sure Hercules will be looking at winning on home soil, and yeah, we cannot wait for that one. That will be next Monday, of course. Tomorrow night is the Realistic Performance League with Tim and Malc. Wednesday night, IRL F2 and F3 with Dan and James covering F2, Charlie and Harry covering F3, and then of course on Sunday you've got the IRL F1 XBOX League, 9:30 p.m. on twitch.tv, where you can find all the links on our social medias by going to the Invictus RL Twitter page, Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram, and of course going to the website invictusracingleague.com, where you can get yourself on the grid by going to the Apply to Race section. Of course, looking at all the league tables and the fantastic Hall of Fame section, find out where these guys have managed to get their records up to as we go through the season so far. And that rounds us out for this week and for the fourth round of the IRL F1 season. Thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully we've brought a little bit of joy to yourselves after being locked in the house over a very sunny weekend here in Britain and across the world. We hope you're happy and feeling a little bit better after what is a very negative time. So yeah, we'll be back next week for some more fantastic racing here at the IRL F1 League. But for now and for the rest of the week, have a very safe week, very happy week, and we will see you in 7 days' time. Good night.